Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Solana, and just before we do, peek over at Bitcoin, see what's going on with that bad boy. And we can pretty much see just kind of trending right around 49,000. Not much to really note here. We're going to probably expect to see some sideways action, I would say, for the remainder of the week, based on the simple fact that it fell what 27% in 16 hours, right? So when coins have that kind of drop, it takes a little while for it to recover and bounce back. So don't expect just to shot right back up to 60,000 or 50,000, whatever, because the likelihood of that happening is very, very, very low, right? We're going to need some kind of extreme catalyst to allow that to happen. So much fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the market right now, causing a bit of a stir, if you will, a ripple. And that's all well and good. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as we can get Bitcoin to go sideways for a little bit more, a little longer, we can see some altcoins take off. I don't think Bitcoin's done going to the upside, if that makes any sense. I think we're going to still see that happen. We just need to have some stability in the market, with the inflation and a lot of other things going on, the pandemics. There's some stuff that's factoring in here. And whether we like to admit it or not, Bitcoin is influenced by the stock market, and that has a big part of it. So we're seeing actually a little bit of green across the board here today, based on the fact that the Dow and the SPY, I think it is, those are all coming back up. Right, they're just a slight increase. It's not significant, but they're not falling as low as we expected over the weekend. Okay, so those are good things, and that I think helps us a lot here. And just before we do, I want you to know, we look at looking at Solana, whatever coins, my goal is to help you become a better, more efficient trader. I love teaching people how to trade. I've been trading for over 15 years myself, gotten quite good at it, and I can tell you that it's one of those things that's just it's worth taking the time to learn. Okay, because I do this every day for a living, and this is my passion, and I truly want to be able to see if we can help you out. So just know I have a link in the description below for my trading community if you want to get a leg up in the industry, kind of become a better trader overall. Okay, so take a look at that in your own time. Now, looking here at Solana, we can see that there is definitely a lot of downward action, right? So it comes down, tries to pump back up, gets rejected right around the upper Fibonacci retracement level of 236, and we can see about $239 is kind of the more recent resistance level. We also can see that the price has been retracing for about 4 days straight. Now, that's no surprise. Sadly, it was retracing just before that happened on Friday, and then it kind of just lost its legs. But we can see the previous resistance here, right at about 214. That was essentially the all-time high for some time, is become a new resistance, right? So the price has dropped below that. You can kind of see that being reaffirmed there. It was a previous support, but we can consider that as a strong resistance now. So round number 215, we can say, is a resistance level at this time. Now, a nice support, as we can see here, the candle wicks have gone below, but the one-day candles cannot close below 188. So that tells me some pretty good stuff there. I think that we're likely to see 188 work as a strong support level. You can see in the past it's worked as a support, and coincidentally it was a previous resistance level here as well. So ultimately we should expect that to be the case, but it does look like it's testing it a lot. And keep in mind, the more often you test a resistance or support level, the more likely it is to break. Okay, so we can't just keep on knocking on that door and expect it to hold. It could inevitably break to the downside. But good news is there's a strong support at 169. We can see the price didn't come down past that. So ultimately, we're looking pretty good here for Solana. I would say that 170 to 190 as a rough estimate is a strong support channel, and we shouldn't expect it to go much lower than that. If it were to just say travel into that channel, we shouldn't expect it to kind of stay there for long. Looking at the moving averages, we're below the 50 rather, and we're above the 200. So all good things there. We're under 50 on the RSI on the 1 day, which is traditionally viewed as a bearish sentiment. Not to say that Solana cannot recover, but it's definitely on the downswing right now, right? If we look at the 4 hour, we see kind of a different story. We can see the MACD potentially trying to converge here in the near future. And we can also see that we're below both moving averages. And look at that, both moving averages are trending just exactly above and below that resistance at 215. Okay, so again, everything's kind of coming to a head right there. I'd be willing to guess too that we have a strong amount of volume profile at that point. Okay, let's go ahead and go from the most recent time there. Look at that. The most amount of volume in the last, ever since we saw our highest point from Solana, is right at about 216. Yeah, so again, we got a strong amount of volume accumulation, strong amount of resistances there. So, I wouldn't expect the price just to come shooting through 215. We're going to need something to push us through. But there's still a lot of real estate between 188 and 215, if that makes sense, right? So you could legitimately experience a almost 15% gain between now and then. All right, so not saying you should just take a position blindly to go ahead and go up to that resistance level, but note that that is the potential range right now. Anywhere between 188 and 215 is a good potential if the price were to continue to kind of make higher highs and higher lows. But it hasn't come close to that yet. We're still making lower lows and lower highs. So not really great stuff here, except for the fact that we have a potential MACD convergence. We might see a turnaround. RSI being under 50 as well is not a great sign, but that 50 on the RSI is essentially reflective of 215 on the price action. So I can confidently say, based on what I see here so far, 215 is going to be a pretty major resistance moving forward. Now, taking a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can see the price is, what is it, right below, yeah, we're underneath the cloud. The conversion line is below the baseline, right? So this blue line is below the red, and of course, we got the lagging span traveling into the price. So this is a pretty common characteristic for a lot of coins right now based on their recent price action, the sell-off. In other words, it basically tells us that there was a sell-off that occurred recently and that the short position would have been advantageous to take, just say in the recent past. But with the price action kind of intersecting here with the lagging span, that tells us we want to close our position if we're in a short position. And in turn, if you want to close your short position, that means that the bulls are probably more so in control in the immediate short term than in the long term, basically just implying the fact that we are probably going to see a continuation of the upside within reason. And when I say within reason, we don't know specifically how high it will go. We want to break this cloud before we consider taking entry, because a lot of times the price will travel into the cloud and stay below and work as a resistance. Okay, so until we break above that cloud and we get that MACD convergence in the 4 hour, I'm not bullish on Solana yet. I would just recommend dollar cost averaging and making sure that you maximize your benefit, if that makes sense. But the key takeaway here, I mean, if you can see this, and we haven't broken this trend yet, we're still making lower lows and we're still making lower highs. Okay, so until this high right here can get higher than this point, we are in a position where we're going to continue to see that. Okay, so I'd speculate we're going to see some sideways action here soon, somewhere in the range of 175 upwards to maybe about 205. But if we can break that lower low, lower high trend, then that could signal reversal as well. That should come to fruition as soon as we break through the cloud and or have a MACD convergence in the 4 hour. Those are the two things I would recommend looking for. But we're probably about 4 to 8 hours away from that. So we'll see what happens. We're only about 3 hours into this continuation period. TD sequential would tell us 4 to 3. So ultimately, we're going to be able to, we might have about 5 to 7 hours worth of bullish momentum. I would say right near the end of that little push, we'll know specifically what's happening a little bit better. So that's kind of where we're at there. Nothing major. Again, just key takeaways here. 215 is a major resistance. We got potential to break to the upside here. If and only if we start making higher highs and higher lows. Pay attention to the 4 hour chart for MACD convergence, and on the 1 hour chart, always ensure that you can kind of identify higher highs and higher lows. We can break some of those trends, we'll be in good shape, especially if we can break above the cloud on the 1 hour and hold for at least just say 2 to 4 hours. Keep in mind, you break above the Ichimoku cloud on the 1 hour chart, that doesn't specifically signal a buy signal. I see prices jump above and drop below again. You want to make sure you get a good couple of candlesticks to close above the cloud before you see that, okay? Or before you consider taking entry. Again, make sure the candles are just closing a little bit above first, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And if not, it's okay. Comment below, let me know. Feel free to reach out to me through Telegram, of course, all the social media stuff. And obviously, if you want to become a better trader, consider joining my Telegram trading community, of course. It's available through Patreon. And by the way, too, moving forward, as of next month, we're actually going to start doing our billing through a website specifically. I'm actually creating a website, working with an awesome web developer to make sure we have a subscription service that fits your needs a lot better than Patreon does. So we'll check that out again soon. So just be mindful of that. That's going to be rolling out in the near future. But for now, available through Patreon. Feel free to consider joining there. I look forward to getting to know you better. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.